Hi everyone, my name is Ellen Fischert and I'm the Managing Director of Oribi Village in Cape Town. Oribi Village in Cape Town is an incubator for social enterprises. There's 3 programs that we focus on. The one is the incubation of entrepreneurs that focus on food systems. So the food entrepreneurs that we have, they vary from people that manufacture food, they process food, they grow food, or they've developed very clever systems so that more people have access to healthy and quality food. We also have a program on sustainable tourism. Sustainable tourism is all about meeting new cultures, it's about visiting new places, it's about engaging with the local population, but making sure that everyone is included in this. Oribi Village is an incubator that forms part of several incubators that are supported by Group SOS in France.
So Oribi Village was launched in 2018 and it helps support social entrepreneurs with the skills, knowledge and training to kickstart their businesses, right? But for someone who's never heard of the term, because when I was looking at your website, it's a impact incubator. For someone who's never heard of that term, what does impact incubator mean?
It can mean actually a lot of things. You don't have one definition for impact. You don't have one definition for social entrepreneurs, and that's actually why it's interesting to work in that field. Is that you have room for innovation, you have room for proposition, but it all comes for us to one thing actually, and it's working on inclusion and business with an inclusion angle, making sure that everyone has access to a decent job, making sure that all the jobs that are created can impact the communities in which they develop themselves. And impacting means creating economic opportunities. It means improving livelihoods. It means making sure that you act for a better management of environmental practices, so to best take care of your environment and make sure that everyone can play a role and that everyone plays a role.
So Louis, let's say, for example, I want to kickstart my business in waste management, right? I'm interested in the field of social entrepreneurship. What is the step for me? And how can Oribi Village support me?
So first you apply on a call for application onto our website or onto our Facebook page. You will have a few questions to answer about yourself, who you are, what kind of entrepreneur you think you are, what kind of entrepreneur you want to be, what kind of problem your solution is answering, what kind of consumers you want to target, what kind of end beneficiaries you will impact. So if your direct consumers are shops or supermarkets in town, the end beneficiaries can be disadvantaged communities surrounding those supermarkets, and that will have access to excess of food that will be better managed. So you have to think ahead of time a bit how your idea will roll out into developing itself. That's we need to understand that you have an idea and that you have more than idea, that you started working on how you'll apply that idea. So like 10 to 20 questions like this. Then we will review your application. If your application is positive, you will go present your idea in front of a jury. So this can be in different ways. Either you send what we call a pitch video. So it's a video of yourself of 3 to 5 minutes, basically explaining what's your idea, who you are, what you want to achieve, etc. And you send it, we review it, we give you feedbacks. or it can be on a direct pitching sessions. Unfortunately, right now it's a bit complicated to have people on a face-to-face situation. But and then if we show that your idea is strong enough and that you are strong enough, you enter the program. You start with a boot camp, meaning that we take all the entrepreneurs together and make them work on different design thinking approach, different methodology and kind of games and techniques to try on their creativity, on their strategy thinking, etc. So it's really fun 2-3 days to get to know each other's, because when you enter a program as a social entrepreneur, one thing that is very, very important is the collectiveness of what you're doing. If you're a social entrepreneur, there's social in social entrepreneur. So it means that you need to take others into consideration. It's not only others as the people you want to impact, but it's also other people you can connect with, collaborate with, and it starts with other social entrepreneurs. So yeah, and after you enter that program, and for depending on the program, for 3 to 9 months, you're gonna work on a day-to-day basis on your. It's a long journey. It's hard. It's tiring, but it's very, very rewarding.
In the beginning of this interview, you mentioned social inclusion and access. How does Oribi Village ensure that you're provided that social inclusion and access?
So basically, when you look at our cohorts, we have 50% of entrepreneurs coming from disadvantaged communities, township areas, rural areas, and 50% coming from abroad, coming from more advantaged communities. And we also have 70% of women entrepreneurs, and that's been done through just making sure that everyone understands itself and everyone has a space to have an opportunity to have a voice. That's more on just the mindset that we started the programs. On more practical things to work on inclusion, we have developed satellite partners, meaning that our offices are in Cape Town, but we have partners in Johannesburg, in Gauteng, in Limpopo, in all the University of Fort Hare, Venda, Limpopo, that helps us having access to other areas and more disadvantaged areas. And through those satellite partners, we deploy access to computers, access to mentors, basically access to our programs. So we try and make sure that we are present not only in Cape Town, because if you look at the map of programs and incubators in South Africa, they are all in Cape Town and all in Johannesburg. For most of them, it's really concentrated into the 2 big cities of the country. So we really try to push for having more partners in different areas to give access to more people to our programs.
Before we wrap up, Louis, I am interested to find out any words of advice for someone who wants to start social entrepreneurship.
There can be many. Actually, it's try it and don't hesitate. It's gonna be a long journey. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be tiring, but again, very rewarding.